Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the arena. It's your boy, Dina. And today I would like to introduce you a new video series of mine, Character by a Specialist. And today's character, the first character, is Lee Chaolan, my friends. What I can say is Lee is a fast, technical character with strong tools. He rewards clean movement, precise punishment, and calmly reminds you when your execution isn't good enough. This guide is made by a Lee main, so we'll talk about what actually works, what looks good on paper, and why Lee players tend to pause before pressing. If you enjoy control pressure, strong fundamentals, and earn every point of damage, Lee makes a lot of sense, my dear friends. And now, let's get excellent! Boys and girls, enjoy, have fun. And today I'm joined with a very good friend of mine, Okan, who will guide you to this Lee guide. Yeah, so have fun and enjoy.
What's up, boys and girls? My name is Okan. I'm 23 years old and a Lee player from Germany. I'm currently GOD1, and for today's guide I would like you to introduce to Lee Chaolan. We'll talk about his pros and cons, his punishers, his key moves, some gameplay variety, some combo variety, a few setups and frame traps, and of course my flavor. Pros and cons of Lee Chaolan. He has amazing whiff punishment and punishment in general. He's one of the best keep out characters in the game. He has huge combo damage potential. He has great counter hit tools, and he has a huge skill expression because Lee rewards creativity. And for the cons of Lee Chaolan, he is execution heavy, he requires good spacing, and he's not very beginner friendly. For his 10 frame punishers we have Acid Rain 1-3-3 with a guaranteed follow up, quarter circle forward 4, up back 3, and a bit execution heavier his slides. For his 11 frame standing punishers we have 4-4-4. For his 13 frame punishers we have forward 1+2 and down forward 4-4. His 14 frame punish is forward 2-1 and back 1-1-2. For 15 frames he has 3 punishers, down forward 2, up forward 4, and his Acid Storm forward 3-3-3-3-4. For the while standing punishers, 10 frame we have while standing 3-3, 11 frame while standing 4, 13 frames while standing 1-4, or while standing 1-2. For the 14 frame while standing launchers it's while standing 2-3 or while standing 2-4. For his 15 frame while standing punish we have up forward 4. For his 18 frame while standing we have full crouch up forward 4. Key moves of Lee Chaolan. We have 1+2, a counter hit launching homing mid, which is -1 on block, and +2 on block if transition into Hitman with 3+4. One of the best buttons Lee has is back 4, a counter hit launching -3 on block mid, which can also transition into Hitman with back 4-3 and has amazing whiff recovery. Another great tool Lee has is down 3, a counter hit launching -15 on block low, which is also a great panic button. Forward 4, a high crushing normal hit launcher, which is safe on block at -5. Forward 3, a -9 on block mid, which is also a heat engager, and in heat can also launch. Forward 2, a great pressure starter, which is +2 on block, and if transition into misstep with forward, it is +5 on block, and can also guarantee a follow-up with the just frame input. It's also a counted launcher. Lee has a safe down 4-2, one of the best tools in the entire game, because it's safe on block launcher, but it doesn't launch people crouching. Lee also has an exceptional down forward 1, which is only -1 on block and tracks to his left. One more great tool Lee has is back 1-1, which can transition into misstep with back 1-1 forward, or can also be transitioned into Hitman with back 1-1 3+4, which is a hit confirmable wall splitting move. but only the just frame input. A very good low Lee has is down back 3+4. It's +4 on hit and -13 on block. It's also a very good frame trap and has very good reach and tracks very well. Down forward 3-3 is a hit confirmable heat engager, which is countered confirmable and can also launch in heat. Back 3-3, of course, we all know it. Lee gets away with murder with this move. It's launch punishable on block, but it's +4 on hit. You can also only do the first one, so it's only -14. Some people can launch it, but yeah. For Lee's Gameplan Variety, he has Keep Out, which is one of the best ways you can play Lee with back 4, down forward 1 or down forward 2. He can also transition into Hitman with various moves, which can let the enemy whiff. If you don't want to play Keep Out, you can also start a good offense with his new move forward forward 2 and also his Y running 3-4. But in general, Lee excels in defensive play because he can bait out opponents' moves with like his -1 moves or -5 moves, so you can counter hit them pretty easily with his panic buttons. His whiff punishment is also very insane with his forward forward 3, which has very good range. And of course his forward 3 strings, which can launch from afar. Coming to the combo variety of Lee, you can do what you personally like. In Season 1 the back 2 loops were his bread and butter combos. But in Season 2 the combo route has changed with back 2-4-3 forward, which does more damage and gives Lee a slightly better wall carry. Some important pickups you have to learn with Lee are of course the down 3 pickup, his forward forward 4 pickup where you have to dash into back 3-3. And of course his back 4, which has the same property as forward 4, where you have to dash, and back 3-3. Lee in general is a pretty timing based character, so everything you've seen here requires at least a bit of timing, precise timing. So you just have to get used to it, don't give up too early. If you're in the open, Lee has some pretty cool finishers, like playing for Oki, playing for wall carry, which you can do from every simple combo. Either go for Oki with 1+2, where you can slide, or of course mix it up with Hitman transition into up forward 4 if the enemy holds back. You can also go for the back 4 guaranteed down 3 spike, but you'll have to do a quick sidestep right to get it guaranteed, otherwise it will be beaten by spring kick. And of course these wall carry options are either forward 2-1, back 1-1+2, while standing 2-3, off the wall is closed down 2. For his wall combos he has the spike combo, which is the best wall combo he has for damage, with the up back 3 follow up. To help up with the timing, what I personally like to do is do a quick back step to instantly do the Hitman up 4. This helps my timing and yeah, eases it out. If you can't go for the spike, you can of course go for the standard route with the down 3 guaranteed follow up. If the enemy likes to hold back or press any buttons, you can also resplit them with the forward 3. And if the enemy stays on the ground, you can also, for a hard read, go for another Hitman stands up 4. Lee also has some neat combo variety, like this one, where you can splat the enemy into the wall with a heat dash. And of course the same goes from the heat dash from the magic 4 string. So yeah, you can do basically the combo you'd like to do where you feel like you have the hang of it. Even the simple combos are fine, but the optimized combos are the combos where Lee really excels and gets terrifying. For the setups and frame traps of Lee, Lee doesn't trap you further, he just tests your patience and then punishes your panic. Lee frame traps don't scream it's my turn, they whisper are you sure? Lee's frame traps revolve all around him being -1 to -5 from certain moves like down forward 1 or forward 4. The enemy will think he can start an offense, but that's right where you will start to punish the enemy with like faster moves of yours, like down forward 1 into 2 to 3, or down from 1 to forward 4. You can also do forward 4 into forward 4. It's those minus frames where the enemy wants to try to start an offense. That's where his 1+2 is also great, which is only -1, where you can Y-sync 3-3 if the enemy wants to like do a 12 frame move or 13 frame move. You can also do it with down 3, which is -1 on hit. And of course, if you go from 1+2 into Hitman, you can threaten with the 1-1-1, which will trade with a jab and be beaten with a dick jab. Another really good thing to know is that if you do the while running 3-4 on block and transition into Hitman, the enemy can't interrupt your 1-1-1 string with a Rage Art or a Power Crush. Some moves where you are plus on block but the enemy might press into it is the down back 4, where you can convert this move into the counter string from down 4 for guaranteed wall splits. His forward 2 of course is a good frame trap if the enemy wants to press into it. You have some moves you can press like down forward 3-3. Or if the enemy wants to jab check you after that, you can just do down 3. Another good move would be the back 3-3 move, where you're +4 on hit, and if the enemy wants to again press into it, you have some options like checking with down forward 1 or down forward 4. Of course there's counterplay to it, like the enemy can sidestep right after the back 3-3, but yeah, you just have to be creative with your offense. Something you have to also know is that if you're till -5, you can actually press the punch parry with Lee, like from his forward 4. His hitman stance 1+2. A cool wall OK Lee has is with his slide from his hitman up 3, where he can make his slide -12, so the enemy might try to punish it. Let me show you. So with this tag, what you're basically doing is you're making your slide -12, and the enemy might think that he can punish it with a launch. What you're basically doing is you're wall splitting into a tornado, and then what I do for the timing is small sidestep left into Hitman, and you have to hit the enemy right at the bottom of the wall with an up 3, hold down, and then just slide, and if the enemy tech rolls, it's -12. Alright, so we've talked about Lee on paper, his strengths, his weaknesses, tools and game plans. And now I want to show you how I personally play Lee, because yeah, this character changes depending on the player. This is not the only way to play Lee, this is just my personal Lee. Coming to the core mindset of my Lee, my general mindset is pretty simple. I do things until my opponent adapts, and once I do, I switch up. I don't like repeating the same option forever, because good players will catch on really fast. So for me, Lee is all about conditioning first and then punishing the adaptation. My neutral game and approach, in the neutral I like to play Lee fairly aggressive. I approach a lot with moves like back 1-1, back 1-1 into Hitman, and while running 3-4. For the while running, you should really start to delay the timing, because if you are doing the while running 3-4 too fast, the opponent can easily sidestep it if he has a read on that. Yeah, I do this to mostly see how my opponent reacts to certain situations. I'm not trying to open up people immediately, I'm just trying to collect the information first. Back 1-1, let's talk about this move. Back 1-1 is basically the heart of my Lee, because most of the time I go into hitman stance to force my opponent to wait. Once people start respecting that, they usually get impatient. That's when I sometimes at the wall finish back 1-1-2, especially near the wall, and suddenly they're getting wall splatted. Sometimes instead of hitman, I go back 1-1 into the misstep by going back 1-1 forward, and then back sway for the low. Most players really don't expect that option. And by the way, when going into hitman, I oftentimes just don't take my hitman stance options, because it's not that great, because in hitman, you should be aware that you can't block in the hitman stance, and good players can option select it with sidestep right duck. Yeah, so when entering the hitman stance, I try not to autopilot into doing anything. If I press any option, I usually go for the 1 or the 1-1 forward to cancel out hitman. And I also go for the 1 delayed 4. So sometimes I catch people off guard by counter hitting them. And that's guaranteed guarantees a full combo. Sometimes I just like to be a bit minus, and people start pressing into my minus frames, just like in forward 4, or like down forward 3, where I'm -7 and the opponent thinks the follow-up will come with down forward 3 too, but I'm just pressing the 3 and I'm starting to look if the enemy starts to jab, and then I'm just ripping out the down 3 or something like that. So I get a full counter hit launch. The same moves goes for while sending 2, and something like down forward 1, of course, forward 2, and also a single back 3, because that's -3. So yeah, I use a lot of delays and fake pressure. While standing 1 is also a very nice tool for me, because in neutral I'm just ripping it out, and if the opponent starts to press on that, I can delay the 2, so I get a counter hit into a guaranteed follow-up. That's for the wall split, and you can also acid rain there. So yeah, I like using unsafe looking moves without finishing them. That's when I try to adapt if the enemy stops pressing into them and they block my down 3. For my low game, down 4 is a move I use quite often. Yeah, it's on paper it's not a great move, because on hit it's -14, and the follow-up can be evaded with low parry into dig jab. Yeah, so that's a move you shouldn't really pressing too often, only if you know the opponent is impatient and starts to press into it, because yeah, you've seen it. Also, if you can counter it, confirm it, this string is literally a monster move, because counter it, confirming it gives a guaranteed wall split and gives guaranteed heat engager. When talking about lows from Lee, I also like the full crouch mix-up, because that's one of Lee's most terrifying mix-ups with his slides, or while sending 1 and while sending 2 strings. Especially out of hitman you can benefit from that, because you can't visually confirm if the Lee is going to slide from hitman. That's why I like the hitman transition so much, because from down forward 4, neutral 3, or like something like back 4, you can transition into hitman, and I usually go for the slide here, because the enemy can't react to it, especially not from hitman. If the enemy starts ducking from the hitman strings, I try not to use that move that often anymore, because yeah, the slide is pretty minus on -15, but you can make it safe. So yeah, coming to my defense and the matchup knowledge I have, if I notice my opponent is very defensive, I actually slow the game down a lot, because if I'm pressing back 1-1 into hitman that much, people just start dick jabbing or start to adapt with like just crouching and then do a full crouch move. Because yeah, this one is not really a mix-up. It just depends on if the enemy is patient or is not. I let them start their offense and fish for counter hits myself. Having a good matchup knowledge helps a lot here because ducking strings and punishing properly and staying patient is key. Coming back to the back 1-1, I can't do the back 1-1 hitman stance forever because yeah, I'm not getting much out of it, and the enemy is not even in a mix-up because he can just stand block or crouch the high option. When people get impatient, they usually want to dick jab here or do a slightly slower low. And that's when I get the hitman stance up 3 or a low parry after the back 1-1 hitman stance. At the wall this is fatal because the enemy will get wall sped by the up 3 in hitman. For a full combo. So yeah, out of hitman, that's also a move I like to use a lot because people just dig jab into it, and yeah, it's just a really solid move. When coming to the wall, my wall game is very important to me. I have pretty strong map awareness, especially when it comes to the punch parry near the wall. I like the punch parry especially when I'm at the wall because the enemy tries to pressure me down with fast moves like jabs, dick jabs or general punch move. When doing the wall combo after the wall spike, I often go for the down back 3 plus 4 instead of the up back 3. It gives much better Oki because the opponent wakes up right at the wall. I'll take strong pressure over 1 extra point of damage any day, because yeah, that's the difference between the two moves. Up back 3 does 1 point of damage more than down back 3 plus 4. When in heat with Lee, I often go for the down forward 3 plus 4 string, because Lee's heat moves are really good in this game right now. Down 1 plus 2 is also a really cool move, but I usually don't press it too often. Just the down forward 3 plus 4 with the guaranteed follow up. If you're fast with it, you can also get the hitman stance up 4 follow up. When coming to my combos, it's often about style against efficiency. I do like stylish combos, not gonna lie. I actually use them quite often because that's just how I enjoy playing Lee. But when the situation really matters, I switch back to the very optimized combos. Because using these full toolkits, having good wall carrying, good positioning is always the priority. Style is a part of my Lee, I just make sure it doesn't cost me the round. When talking about the style combos, here are some examples of my style combos. So yeah, closing out this guide, that is my Lee. Controlled aggression, a lot of conditioning and constantly switching up once people adapt. For me, Lee really shines when you make your opponent hesitate and overthink, and once they do, that's when things really get fun. Thank you guys for watching this guide, my explanation to my Lee, and I hope you had fun watching this and learned something from it. Thank you, Senna, for having me on this guide today, and yeah, I hope you guys have a really good day.
So, boys and girls, that was it for the Lee guide by Okan. I really hope you had a lot of fun and learned something new out of it. Thanks very much to my good friend Okan for helping me out with this Lee guide and making it for you guys. Here you have the link of Okan's Twitch channel. He also streams, so if you really want to see some high quality Lee gameplay, please check my brother Okan out. If you have constructive criticism about those guides, please let me know, and also let me know which characters you want to see the next time. And yeah, I have a special thing at the end of the video for you, and that is a Lee mirror between me and my friend Okan. So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the mirror with me and Okan. A lot of wishes, a lot of kisses from your boy Cena. Woo, 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 woo.
Leaving my homie before I lose consciousness. Electro Latino. Todos quieren una.